Hello, how's everyone doing today? Today we're going to be talking about standard input, standard output, and standard error. So the first thing that we're going to be going over is the numbers 0, 1, and 2. So basically these numbers are important is because these are the numbers you're going to be using when you're like redirecting stuff. So number 0 is standard input, which is the source of input data. By default, standard input is any text entered from the keyboard. So that's denoted by 0. And then we have standard output, which is basically the outcome of a command, and by default is displayed on the screen. And same thing with standard error, it's displayed on the screen too, but it's basically the output or the error message, if any, produced by commands. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, since I'm already in Cloud User, I don't have permissions to look inside the directory or the actual directory of root. So you see how I get like error, permission denied. So what I can do is do the same thing, but I can redirect it with number 2 because 2 is standard error, and then I'll redirect it, and I can put it into a like file called error.log. So you can name this whatever you want. So when you're redirecting stuff, like you're getting the actual output of the actual error, and it's going into wherever you wanted to put. And what I just did is made a brand new file. All right, I'm press enter. You don't see anything because it was omitted, and it was put inside that actual file. So it's not going to the screen, it's going to the file. So when I cat it, you can see that it's inside that actual file. And the great thing is that I can do the same thing with standard output. So you see here, the standard error is not showing because there's no error, right? If there is standard error, it will show you along the lines of one of the lines here, right? So if I do ls, it's getting all the data. There's no errors, so obviously it's showing me on the actual screen, right? So if I do ls this time, I'm going to take the standard. You see the standard output, and I'm going to redirect it to output.text. All right, as you can see, you don't see anything in there. Why? Well, you don't see anything outputted because it got redirected. And when I do this, I'm catting it, basically showing me what's inside of there. That's the wrong one. I have another output file actually, you guys. So you see the output of ls was actually outputted or redirected inside of this text. As you can see, it's here. So if I did the same exact thing, right, and I put number 2 and I put it into a random file called testing, it wouldn't work. Why? Because there's no errors here. That's the reason why that won't work. That's why you got to put a 1 there. All right, and let's say if I want to output the errors, and like let's say like I'm searching the file system for like a location, a directory, a file, or whatever I'm looking for, I can actually output the actual data to something else. So, but what I mean by outputting, I'm basically meaning by outputting it to like an empty directory, or like this thing called dev null. Dev null is basically an empty void. So if I did this, let's say if I did ls, and then I did 1, which is standard output, and then I put it inside a dev null, it will disappear. You will never see anything again. This is useful if you're just trying to output like extra errors and things you don't want, like nothing to do with. You can just output it to this. So for example, I can do this. If I do ls root, and then I do ls dot means your current directory. So if I did this, I'll get 2 of them. You see, the first one, it'll look here for my regular ls, and then it'll also look inside a root, right, which will give me the permission denied. But let's say I want to run that command again, but this time I don't want any errors coming from it. I can just do number 2, and then I can output this to null. You're not going to get any error. Why? Because I redirected it, and without it, as you can see, you're going to get the error, because the second directory that I try to open is not working. Not to get you guys confused, you can look at multiple directories with this. When you do an ls, you can literally do like ls public, and I can do ls templates. So I can look in these 2 directories, and you can see that they're empty. There's nothing in there. That's why I'm showing this. So same thing on the other one. When I did this, it's telling you, like, you see the dot is telling you that is denoted or is delimited by this. So it's showing right here the current directory, what I have in here, and then is doing ls, and it's basically going in the root directory, but it's not showing you right next to it or right here because it's an error message right here. All right. Another cool thing you can do is use echo, and if you do hello, basically it'll go to the screen. It always gets outputted to the screen, right? You can actually output this echo into a file. So like if you're trying to make a quick little file, you can just like redirect it to anything you want to name it to. So I'm going to name this hello.txt, right? And if I look inside of it, you can see hello in there. And then if you want to append to the end of the line, you can use 2 greater signs. And each time you do it is adding to the end of the line. So if I do cat hello, you see that is there 4 times. But remember, if you only do it 1 time, you'll overwrite this file. So this is the equivalent of overwriting. So as you can see now, it's deleted. So now I gotta do this one again, and then I'll check again. As you can see that it overwritten it or the first time right here, and then now it's adding to the end of the line. And then there's another cool command called word count -L. So I'm gonna look inside hello. It's gonna tell me how many lines are present, which is 4, as you can see here, because there's 4 hello, so there's 4 lines technically. So if you have a big file, you want to count the lines, you can use this command also, which is called word count. All right. One cool thing you can do is you can do this word count -L, and then you can input the file. So it's similar to this one, but you're basically just putting the raw file instead of word count, and then you're going to redirect this. So when hello.txt, the actual output here, the 4 hellos that you saw goes inside of here, this will count it and will output the number 4, and then the 4 will go inside of this. So I'll put output, and then I'll do cat output. As you can see, it's 4. All right. It looks a little confusing, but it's really not. You're just basically inputting a file in here, and then you're getting the results of that, and you're outputting it to something else, right? Don't get confused about these words. These words that I'm using are not special. This is the file that I made. You can call it whatever you want, and this is basically whatever I want to output it to. So when you're outputting stuff, either you output it to a file that exists, or you make a brand new name. If the name already exists, you're going to overwrite it, unless there's certain permissions on there that's preventing it from being written to. All right, and then we're going to do piping now. So I'm going to do ls, and then I'm going to look. Let's see what we have here now. So I'm going to do ls. Let's see. Let's just do ls for now, right? And then what I can do, I can pipe that to grep, and I can use -I, which is case insensitive, and I can look for out. And it's going to give me the files inside of here with out. So what I did is I got the output of ls, which is all of this, and then it went inside of grep, and then I used the in case insensitive, so it doesn't matter if it's lowercase or uppercase. It'll look for big zeros and small zeros, and same thing, small zero, lower use, same thing with t. And then what it did, it basically grep just basically grabbed everything that matched those letters. So as you can see, it's output. So this is what this pipe symbol is. So if I did cat hello, right, it's going to look inside the hello file, and then I'm going to send this to grep -I. I'm going to type in he. You see? So I grab the output of this, and then it piped it to this program, basically. All right. And that's pretty much it for redirection that I can think of. There's other things that might be a little bit out the scope of this exam, but the main thing about this, don't get discouraged or anything like this. Is actually pretty simple. If you actually practice with this, there's a lot of things you can do with this. It's a very powerful tool, redirection and stuff, and moving things around. There's a lot of things you can do. I will be making more videos, and they'll be getting a lot more advanced, but that's why I'm going to be basically doing videos for all the basics, for beginner basics, which this is part of a beginner basics course, and then from there the skills are going to be building. But like I said, with redirection, just remember the main ones, which is you can use this, the greater than, less than, the double one, which basically will append, and then this is the pipe symbol. And then you use 1 for standard output, 2 for standard error, and then a special directory is called dev null, which you can actually send all the data into like a black hole or a void. It will delete everything. It will basically filter everything out for you. All right, and that was pretty much it. Please leave a comment and subscribe. If you thought the video was good, leave a comment. Like I said, if there's something that you'd like to see or something that I missed or something I could have done better, please leave a message and leave some feedback. Thank you, and you guys have a great day, and thank you guys for watching.